discussed topics in India in the last couple of years. I think ever since the Indian Companies Act 2013 was formulated, everybody's been discussing this topic. But there are a lot of unanswered questions. For instance, is the CSR bill comprehensive? How do you weave in CSR into your business practices? How do you do CSR for industries which have negative connotations? How do people perceive CSR when it is seen as a result of a negative situation that a corporation is in? So we will attempt to see our panelists answer some of these difficult questions. So we have today with us four esteemed panelists, and they represent a very different perspective because of the organizations that they come from. So we have Amit Saha from Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Limited, and we have Meenakshi, who represents SME Miller. So they really represent the corporates. Then we have Vishalakhi Ghosh, who comes from a CSR consultancy, and so she will give us a point of view of a consultancy. And finally, we have Kavita Kaushik, who comes from Maitreya CSR, which is an implementation and resource agency. So welcome to you all. My first question to you is that CSR and sustainability are often used interchangeably, while they mean two very different things. So while CSR is more about corporate citizenship, sustainability is more about how companies use sustainable practices to ensure long-term gains and make it part of their business strategies. So I'd like to first understand that do your organizations follow CSR or sustainability or a combination of both?
Hello. Till recently I was heading the Foundation for Advertisement, so I'm going to speak from that point of view. See, what my experience tells me is that when you look at it from a global point of view, the market or the CSR or sustainability is, I won't say totally mature. What I'll say is much more advanced than what we see in India today. In India, I think we're still very recent. There is lots of confusion in terms of the terms, in terms of the jargons, in terms of what exactly happens when CSR happens and what is sustainability. So I guess, if you ask me, I would say that we should start with CSR. We'd start with doing good and then make it sustainable. From an advertising point of view, it is an ongoing process. Sustainability does not just mean philanthropy. It means a lot of things. It involves supply chain, it involves people, it involves human rights, it involves the whole value system of the company. So we are trying to make not only the stakeholders, but the employees, but people working, everybody involved sustainable. So we are looking at it in a more comprehensive, in a more wholesome way. Now, what we have to do here, I guess, some of the companies in India are also doing the same. Because I have seen in global reporting, we have been doing well in terms of sustainability. So I guess the, what should I say, the foundation stone has been laid. It's just that work needs to be done more. However, the challenge that remains is that to make things sustainable in a country like ours, which has its own problems, which has its own challenges, is what are the questions that we need to answer and how we need to answer them.
Amit, would you like to?
Yeah, first of all, good morning. Thank you for inviting me here. And I was telling some people yesterday that this is the first time I've come to a PR conference, so I was finding myself a little lost. But yesterday when I attended the whole session and today as well, I think in 6 to 7 hours I would have learned about 6 months which I couldn't have learned in the PR world. So, and I think it was learning from the back. So you open the book and you start reading it from the back and start understanding the issues and the climax and then the story. So you come up millennia in the morning today. So it was a story which was unfolding the other way around, and thank you for that. Really thank you for that. In our company, in Coca-Cola, we have about 25 factories and we have another 10 co-packers in India. is completely owned by the Coca-Cola company. So we have feet on street, so about 16,000 employees and about $2 million of revenue. So we see these issues of engagement very closely. So it's not just the fluffy brand and the marketing side of it on the air, above the line. So for us, it's hard work at the ground with our partners and stakeholders. And so to this time, we were doing a lot of so-called CSR activities, which is fragmented from the bottling units which we have taken over. What was good for one organization, one bottling plant was probably not good for another. And now the strategies, specifically for India, we are strategizing towards a few things which are long-term, because that's how you see results. Going on to the sustainability side, I'm probably the very few such people in the country who call myself a sustainability guy. And it so happened about 2 years back. And it becomes a little difficult to explain my job to people outside. People say, okay, you are a CSR person, or you are a media guy, or what you're doing exactly, So the world now sees sustainability, and CSR becomes a part of it. The way I see it is, CSR does engagement to largely improve the image in the eyes of stakeholder by doing some activities on ground, short term and long term. Sometimes 50%, 60% towards risk mitigation, just to make sure the business is going on. And sustainability is a little bit more. And the way we do sustainability in organization, the framework for 220 countries is same, which is around me, world. So me is around active living, we is around society and our social stakeholders, and world is around, it could be water, it could be packaging, it could be carbon, it could be agri-sustainability. Now, some of these, which are the world terminologies, are not actually part of CSR. So CSR is kind of limited to my mind, and I may be wrong in that. But I feel that sustainability gets integrated into the business and it drives results. So for example, if I do something in the area of packaging, for example, reducing packaging waste, or reducing the packaging, which is my consumer and customer really doesn't pay for the packaging, he or she pays for the beverage inside it. So if I reduce that, it only helps the company to be much more profitable. If I reduce the fleet carbon dioxide on the fleet side, like we have 2,000 trucks which operate, which is company owned in the country, and 6,000 of the others. And if we suppose do a route optimization and make sure that we deliver more by doing less number of kilometers, I eventually save money. My company saves money. So I feel that sustainability to that extent gets something back to the organization. It's probably for the long term. And CSR also should be a part of it in a way, but that's my personal view. Because at many places we see these two so-called functions, and in our organization right now we have kind of two separate functions. But I feel sometimes it should join and synergize when we go forward, especially with the stakeholders.
Thanks, Atul. I think Vishalakshi and Amit have sort of answered the question in some way, because I think it's a question of definitions. We become fashionable and you start saying something, and sometimes it's CSR, sometimes it's sustainability. But we believe at P.C.B. Miller that whatever you do and whatever you choose to call it, it's got to be at the heart of your business. And if you've not integrated it into your business, then it's only provisional, it's not long term. I mean, you look at the kind of world that businesses are surviving. There are all kinds of challenges. I can talk about our business. Demographics are changing, consumption patterns are changing, resources are becoming scarce. So businesses have to grapple with a lot of things, when challenges which oftentimes are not of your own making alone. And you have to address them and be answerable to your shareholders as well. So I think it's really a question of where an organization is in that journey and what you choose to do. We have chosen, we don't do CSR. We look at this whole issue from sustainability, which means that we want to be prosper. We want to prosper, and we want to prosper with communities and with stakeholders that we share and do business with. Now, if you choose to call it CSR, it's CSR, we call it sustainability. So if a company such as ours has a vision to do business in a world which is thriving, a world which is social, a world which is clean, which is resilient, which is productive, then it requires us to address challenges which cannot, in our view, be answered only by this very linear view of, doing CSR, doing something for the communities. You have to do it with the communities because the challenges that you're trying to address are shared by them as well.
Thanks, Kavita. Would you like to tell us your views?
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank Amit for inviting me here. I'm not part of the PR crowd, so I have been like an outsider watching you guys. And believe me, it's a beautiful energy that I have been seeing. And it's really a pleasure to be with all of you. And I don't think I need to add to what they are saying. That's it.
Thanks. So my next question really is, and taking this forward, is that there is a certain criticism that the new CSR approach focusing more on CSR and not on sustainability. So would any one of you who has a strong view on this? So are we saying that the new CSR approach is more focused on CSR rather than sustainability? And from what I hear, from what Amit and Meenakshi have been saying, that ultimately, unless it is sustainable, it is not long term. So, any views on that?
Again, Atul, I think you have to look at CSR, you have to see the context in which this bill has come. We're talking of a situation where there are a whole lot of companies who do nothing. And as Vishalakshi, you said, it's a very nascent thought, I think there's a lot of debate which is going on about 2%, 2.5%, 3% and whatever. The central point, I think, of the bill is that the corporate world is expected to play a role. I think that's the central message there, You choose your theme, you choose your topic, and you choose your percentage. That can be debated, and there is a debate. We are, discussing it at various platforms. Should it be 2%? Should it be less? How should companies spend it? Should they spend it alone or should they spend it together? And there is a lot of work that's happening in this direction. But I think what is important out of that is that corporates will have to now play a more active role in that. And if you look at the contents of the act, I don't think it demarcates, something that you can...
And internet and social media being so strong now that the geographical divide is not there. So suppose something is happening in India with our brand, let's say for the Coca-Cola brand, and somebody in the US will have a view on it unless I have the other set of stories to tell. So if they do know that, if they do get all the negative messaging from, let's say, from this country or from any other country, they will think that, the world will think that there is absolutely nothing which the company is doing. Okay, and there is, as yesterday somebody's, good to hear that 60% of these messages come from spams and or are mostly negative. So you have to kind of counter it with positive stories. And if you have positive stories and you made life different and better for some people, why not talk about it? Because that also gives people like us the kick, so to say, to go back and do more.
We have time for a few questions.
Hi, this is Shailesh.
My question is to Kavita. We have often seen that large corporations, they have in-house foundations to execute or to do the channelize the funds for the CSR activities. And most of the time it has been as I would say, that is used more for siphoning out the more profit, out of the profit which is contributed, which is earmarked for this CSR.
You're very close to the mic.
Okay. So my question is, how more often we have seen that large corporations, they have the in-house foundations for doing the sustainability work, the CSR work, and often the money is diverted via these foundations. So how often you have come across this is actually happening and not taking out more profit out of the profit which is earmarked for the CSR?
I'm sorry your question is too long, so difficult to comprehend. If you could just in one line ask what you're
Since the large corporations are using their in-house foundations for CSR, it's more often an eyewash than the actual work happening. Go ahead.
No, I don't think it's an eyewash, but a foundation is like any other NGO. So they don't just use their own funds, they take funds from various sources.
I'll just weigh in here as heading a foundation. Internal foundations are like funding agencies. They don't use the fund internally. They always look for partners. So basically, the company earmarks amount of funding which will be used for different activities. So the foundation internally is not a competition or not a threat to an implementation or or an NGO.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Hi, this is Shuman from MSL Group. We recently did a research study.
Have a solution to that. But when you talk of sustainability, it's like everybody here on the panel says it's a really multi-faceted stream on which you go. And no one issue can be viewed in isolation. So anybody who is working in this direction does exactly what you are saying. So let me give you an example of what SAB Miller is. This was I think about a few months ago. We published a study on water, food and energy nexus. And you might ask what a company which is into beverages may have to do. Okay, very obvious we use water and therefore, our direct connection with water, but what we may have to do with energy or food. And if you dig a little further, if you probe a little further, you see that water, energy and food are actually very closely linked and one impacts the other. And these are not just local or national issues, these are global issues. So, depending on how mature the company is, depending on how far you've evolved, you actually do get involved in issues which don't matter just to you, which is not related just to the immediate short-term profitability of your organization, but which involve much larger issues. And the reason again why companies get involved and they have a stake and a reason to be part of the negotiations and discussions around those issues is because ultimately it comes back to business. It's good for business.
Rajiv,
Can I just add to this? I don't know if you've heard about Doctors Without Borders. There is something called Technology Without Borders, and most technology companies that I know who build infrastructure are part of this organization, wherein engineers, and most of them millennials are a little less, go to disaster areas to build infrastructure. They are sent there on deputation, and it's an experience for them because they just go there, make the infrastructure, stay and work with the people there. We've done it from Alcatel-Lucent, I think Ericsson, Nokia, most of these companies are there. So believe me, there are a lot of different things that are happening where people are opening up the wider sense of CSR and not just what we see as going and doing volunteers.
so one last question.
Hi, this is Reena. I work with Living in Colony. I began my career with a non-profit actually. So I have always been passionate about CSR.
I get it. Can I answer this? I can answer this a little in short. So, so there is something called, for the sustainability guide, there is something called materiality analysis. A risk analysis, materiality analysis. What you need to do is what is material. and how much is it material to your business. So if you went out and gave water where water was already available, so and there was enough and plenty to drink anyway, and you put another plant for somebody to, or you gave extra money and people bought bikes, then that means you have not done your homework well at the beginning as to what is material. It's your hard-earned money, it's your company's hard-earned money. If it is going into a wrong purpose and it's not ending up serving the real purpose of the organization, it is wrong. So there's something called materiality analysis, which is the form, which is the base of sustainability. So you start working from there, and then you see where is the money going to yield the maximum returns. So I have met a lot of friends of mine who have become social investments managers. So they don't call themselves CSR anymore. Social investment. So where is my investment and what is the return?
I just answered the question. I think you were talking, I didn't really understand the question, but I think the right answer would be that when you work with communities, we cannot provide them leadership from the outside. So A, you have to get the community to be leaders. B, you have to get them to be the owners of the project. Only then is going to be a success.
So thank you all. I think with the new CSR, India is unique, and whether we continue to lead the way in CSR will be time will tell. Thank you all.